First, what is global warming? For global warming means an increase in the time of average temperature of the Earth's atmosphere and oceans. In practice, we talk about global warming that refer the warming observed over the last decades. It is postulated that temperature has augmented since the late 19th century due to human activity, mainly the emission of carbon dioxide, increase the greenhouse effects. The theory also predicts that temperature will continue to rise in the future if they continue to greenhouse gas emissions. Second, causes of global warming. Most scientists agree in indicating that the main cause of the acceleration of global warming is human activity. The progress of man has expanded the greenhouse effects which have forced the climate causing an imbalance. Many gases that have been emitted to the atmosphere block escape routes and stay permanently, without any relation to chemical and physical processes of nature. The man with deforestation, exploiting of the soils and burning of fossil fuels releases large amount of carbon dioxide, which greatly increases its concentration in the atmosphere. Methane, which naturally have a limited amount, is greenhouse properties even greater than CO2. Third, consequence of global warming. Growth of the water level by melting polar section of ice, which will cause the disappearance of Holland and the low countries of this. The southern state of Florida and the San Francisco Bay in the U.S. and around Beijing and the Shanghai in China, Calcutta in India and Bangladesh, where approximately 60 million people. Increased respiratory diseases, cardiovascular and infectious diseases caused by mosquitoes and tropical pests, besides frustration and dehydration due to heat. Shortage of food to the growing difficulties for affecting soils and high temperatures. Increased water demand would reduce reservoir levels, causing shortage of food to the growing difficulties for affecting soils and high temperatures.
What can we do from our homes to avoid the greenhouse effect? Replace traditional bulbs with low energy. Combat fluorescent or lamps. Do not use electric to off lamp whenever you leave a room. Use Lex application. Discord runs television, games, and more to those not paying attention at the time. Uses a clothing instead of the clothes dream. Have dream clothes or half the year. Reduce big 320 kilos of carbon dioxide emission a year. About using hot water. You can use Lex hot water by station. I handheld show low pressure and water heat cloth in cool and warm water. Replace spray irons that do not wear the emission. Recycle glass, plaques, and paper.
2000 to 2009. It was the warmest decade on modern record. How do we know? It's what we do. NASA has satellite missions monitoring climate. They're up there right now, gathering data, analyzing trends, and sharing both raw data and results with everyone for free. Why are temperatures rising? Why aren't changes the same everywhere? How are humans contributing to climate change? What changes are already occurring today? Find out for yourself. Our warming world at nasa.gov.
Climate scientists at NASA's Goddard Institute of Space Studies, or GISS, just released a new analysis of global average temperatures showing that 2009 was tied as the second warmest year ever recorded. And looking just at the southern hemisphere, 2009 even broke the record as the warmest year ever in this half of the world. In fact, 2009 was virtually tied with 5 other recent years in its position as second warmest on record: 1998, 2002, 2003, 2006, and 2007, and it was only a fraction of a percent cooler than the warmest year, 2005. Yet when looking at global temperatures over a longer time frame, these scientists found a persistent warming trend over the past 3 decades, with the average global temperature increasing by roughly 1/3 of a degree Fahrenheit per decade. This past decade, from 2000 to 2009, was the warmest yet. And when looking back all the way to 1880, the year when precise temperature record-keeping began, scientists observed about a 1.5 degree Fahrenheit rise in global temperature.
There are already beginning to be effects of 1 or 2 degrees warming, and if we get 5 or 10 degrees warming several decades downstream, there will be huge effects.
GISS scientists came to these results after analyzing information from 3 sources: data from more than 1,000 weather stations around the globe, satellite observations of sea surface temperature, and measurements from Antarctic research stations. So what's the cause of this long-term warming trend? While there are several natural processes that can cause subtle climate warming or cooling, like variations in solar activity, fluctuations in ocean currents, and volcanic eruptions, climate scientists believe that the rising levels of carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases are the dominant factor driving the rise.
If we want to limit climate change and keep it under an additional 1 degree Celsius or 2 degrees Fahrenheit, we would need to begin to decrease the CO2 emissions gradually so that by the end of the century, CO2 stopped increasing.
So while 2009's temperature may not have been the global record breaker, it is in line with the long-term trend, telling scientists that the planet is getting warmer.